In this video, we're going to walk through how to deploy the OpenVPN Connect application, along with its related configurations using MDM tools like Jamf Pro on macOS devices. Let's start by creating the configuration file that we'll use alongside our post-deployment script. First, open Terminal, and we'll create this configuration file in the temp folder using nano. We'll name it global config macOS, and it's important to use the .ocfg extension at the end. Now, as for the actual contents of the configuration file, let's look online for a reference. Let's search for OpenVPN Connect Global Config. The first result that comes up should be a guide on configuring global settings using an OCGF file. Let's open that. You'll see two options, one for Windows and one for macOS. Since we're working with macOS, we'll go with that. If we scroll down to the bottom of the page, there's a sample configuration file in a nicely formatted JSON structure. Let's copy that example and paste it into our own configuration file. We'll tweak it as we go. Looking at the JSON structure, the first object we define is the profile, which includes the name and the path to the profile we want to import. We'll need to update the path to match the location of the profile on our system. In this case, I already have a profile file named profile23.ovpn saved in the same temp folder. So I'll update the path to point to temp folder. So it will be /tmp/profile23.ovpn. Other than that, we're also defining two proxies and several other Connect app settings. For the sake of this demo, we're going to leave those as is. Now let's go ahead and save the file. If we check our temp folder, we can see that both our global config macOS.ocfg and profile23.ovpn files are there. With that done, the next step is to download the OpenVPN Connect package that we'll use for deployment. Head over to our official site, openvpn.net, go to the resources section, and download the OpenVPN client for macOS. And I already have it downloaded here, so I'll open the DMG file. Inside, you'll see two packages, one for Intel-based Macs and one for Apple Silicon. Since we're working with an Apple Silicon Mac, we'll use the ARM package. I've already extracted that from the DMG. Now it's time to upload it to the Jamf Pro dashboard. Open Jamf Pro, go to Settings, then look up Packages. In the top left corner, click New to create a new package entry. Give it a name and select a category, something like VPN application, and leave a short note like for testing purposes. Then drag and drop the package file you downloaded and click Save. While that's uploading, let's create our post-installation script that will apply the configuration file we just made. Back in Settings, search for Scripts, then click the plus sign to add a new one. Let's name it something like Global Config OpenVPN Connect script. Categorize it as a VPN configuration file, and you can add a short note if you would like to. Now switch over to the Script tab. Jamf Pro lets you push Shell, Python, or Perl scripts. We'll stick with the default bash script for this demo. We'll start with a shebang line, !bin/bash, then add a short sleep, let's say 5 seconds, just to give the Connect app a moment to finish installing before we do anything. After that, we'll add a command to open the configuration file. The file will live in the Jamf directory, so we'll point to it there. It's always a good idea to leave comments in your script, so we'll add a quick comment explaining that the sleep is to ensure the app is fully installed. 5 seconds usually works well, but you can adjust that if needed. Then we'll comment that the next command opens the config file by file association. That's it. Pretty simple. Let's save the script. Now that both the package and script are uploaded, we can create a deployment policy for our macOS devices. Go to Computers and then Policies and click New. We'll name it something like OpenVPN Connect 371 with OCFG post-deployment script. Under Packages, select the ARM version of OpenVPN Connect we uploaded. Then, under Scripts, add the script we just created. Next, go back to the General section and define a category. Let's say VPN app again. Now, let's define the triggers. These can vary depending on your deployment method. For this demo, we're simulating a bring-your-own-device scenario, so I'll trigger the policy on startup, login, and enrollment complete. Lastly, define the scope. This tells Jamf where to deploy the app and script. For this video, I'm setting it to deploy to all users and all computers in our test fleet. Then click Save. Back in the Policies section, you'll see our new policy listed, with the triggers and scope all set. Now it's time to enroll a device. We'll go to our enrollment link, log in with our test user, and download the enrollment profile. I've already done that, so let's go into System Settings, navigate to Device Management, double-click the MDM profile, hit Install, and enter credentials if prompted. Once the profile is installed, the enrollment is complete. Now we wait for the OpenVPN Connect app to install silently in the background. This usually takes a minute or two. There it is. OpenVPN Connect just appeared in our Applications folder. Give it another moment, and it should apply our configuration file using the script we deployed. And here it is. The OpenVPN Connect app is prompting us to accept the configuration. We'll click OK, and there's our confirmation. The app config has been successfully applied. We can see the profile we defined is already imported. If we click on Proxies, the 2 proxy entries from our configuration file are present. And if we check the settings, the changes we defined in our JSON are all visible as well. And that's it. I hope this gave you a clear picture of how to deploy the OpenVPN Connect app, along with related configuration files using MDM tools like Jamf Pro. For more help or in-depth tutorials, check out our documentation on the website under the Resources section.